Like I had just fought 6 days ago. I had just come out of a movie and my coach called me like midway through the movie, so like I had to put the popcorn and chocolate down. I come to the airport at 6 a.m. It was 12 a.m. at the time.
Where were these fight clubs breaking down? Because you said
toilet.
In the toilets.
Yeah, our school's going to see this. I think it still goes on. Me and my friends started it. I want the competition to rise. I don't care if they have 7-0, 8-0, 9-0.
Right.
Like, I don't care. Like, I'll fight anyone. I honestly think we are the best flyweight, best bantam, best featherweight, best lightweight, best heavyweight in Australia.
All right, guys, we need to stop for a second because I want to ask you something. Do you know what the number one regret is for a human being? It's not betting on themselves. It's not taking a chance, and it's not chasing that dream that you often see discussed on this show. And do you know what the number one reason as to why people don't do that? It's because of money. But if there's anything I want you to take away from this podcast, it's that you can go and chase your dreams. You can travel the world. You can start the next Fortune 500 company. That's why I'm super excited to announce that I've partnered with Monarch Financial Group. Monarch Financial Group are a team of mortgage brokers who are absolutely committed to making sure you get access to the money that you need and the education that you need. They've got teams of mortgage brokers with over 10 years of industry experience. And that experience goes towards fighting tooth and nail to make sure that you get the best deal possible. So it's time to stop procrastinating on that dream. It's time to go to monarchfinancialgroup.com.au. Make sure to mention Luca's podcast in the process.
Bang, welcome back to the number one podcast in the world. Thank you guys so much for smashing the subscribe button. We are on our final stretch of hitting 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So let's get that final push. Let's go. Let's hit our milestones and end off the year with a victory. A man who knows all about victories is my next guest today, who is absolutely destroying it in the MMA scene right now. He has been on this crazy trajectory, fighting, I think, 4 or 5 times now in the last 10 months, and is absolutely destroying it. I watched him make his debut a mere 10 months ago. I am joined here today with the none other than Baz Demirel. Thank you very much for joining me today, Baz.
No, you're good, bro. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Listen, bro, I am a massive fan of you. I think you've got one of the most astounding arcs that I've seen so far.
Thank you, yeah. Just 10 months. 2 years training.
2 years training now. That is crazy, dude. Like, when I think of amateurs trying to break it into the scene and make it into the Sydney MMA circuit, it generally takes a couple years before they find their winning rhythm. You often see fighters fight maybe once or twice a year, and they spend a lot of time in between camps trying to just develop their skills. But you have just been working like crazy. You train over at MMAFFT, right?
Yeah.
Who's your head coach there?
Renato Subotic.
Renato Subotic. And what's his like training regimen with you? Like how often are you guys in the gym? How often are you guys working on the tools?
We're in the gym 6 days a week.
6 days a week. Yeah. That must be like very physically taxing for you, man.
Yeah, it does drain your body. When you work morning till Arvo and then straight to the gym.
Yeah.
Till like 10, yeah.
Yeah, so it must be like I imagine as well that you would have like a full-time job that you're doing as well.
Yeah, I'm at the airport 5-6 days a week.
Right. What kind of work are you doing there?
Cargo, so I save freight to like where.
That's like physical lifting.
Yeah.
That's like heavy work. So you're going from a full-time job where you're being physically strained all the time to something where you're putting your body on the line and you're physically draining yourself. You're wrestling, you're grappling, you're striking, you're pushing, you're getting kicked in the head. I mean, are you just a sucker for punishment, man? What's going on?
I love training. Like, I just love fighting. I've been doing it like since I was young. I wasn't in the gym, but like me and the boys, like friends, family, like always training. So I finally got into a gym when I was 17, year 12. And then, I found the best team in the world.
Best team in the world. That's a bold claim, sir.
You'll see soon. 2 years.
Yeah? What's happening in 2 years?
We'll have some people in the UFC.
For real?
Yeah, easy.
Will you be one of those people?
2-3 years.
Yeah?
Maybe 4. Doesn't matter if it's 10 years, but
right.
It's a marathon for me. So
It's good that you've got that pacing about yourself, because for most people, I think especially now in this world of instant gratification, what you're seeing is everyone wants the thing that they're desiring, but straight away. Because, you know, you post up a TikTok, you get 100,000 likes and you just get used to that instant gratification. You'll put up an Instagram post or a YouTube video or something and you're constantly just getting that validation immediately. And I think we're almost kind of being hardwired for looking for short-term pleasure as opposed to long-term fulfillment. So I find it interesting that you do have that mindset of I'm working on something for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years.
Yeah, I'll do it 15 years. I feel like there's a problem like with the amateur MMA, like they're like internet fighters, like I can't explain it. Like I feel like they duck and dive, like you get what I mean? Like
do you feel like they're not active enough?
Nah, like there's a lot of active people, but I feel like if you go on like Topology, for example, and like you'll see the top, I think it's 25 that are ranked, like no one fights each other, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's what I mean, like as you were saying, like they're trying to rush things, but like it's amateur, doesn't matter if you fight the best in your division. That's what I mean, like my second fight, came back from the States, 3 weeks of training, fought with COVID. I knew I had COVID, but I didn't say nothing. And like I didn't arguably win, but like I almost finished him 2 times. Just, yeah, I feel like people try and duck and try not to fight like the top people in their division.
That was against Dominic Aston, wasn't it? On an Eternal card.
Yeah.
So in that Dominic fight, I actually watched that. I watched the replay of that last night. And I'm astounded to hear you say that you were on probably a lot of jet lag and that you weren't fighting at 100% health.
Yeah. I was, like I said, I had COVID. I knew I had COVID.
Right.
I was in the hotel, like we landed on Wednesday. The fight was on Saturday.
Wow.
And no, I think it was Thursday. Yeah, Wednesday or Thursday. Can't remember. Anyways, so we landed and like the first night, like I was getting really hot, like sweating non-stop. And then I would like, you know, put the aircon on or something and then I'd be like really cold, like couldn't stop shivering. Like it was like on and off. And then, yeah, like wouldn't stop sneezing, coughing. Like I was blowing my nose like every 2 minutes. Like the bin was like just full of like tissues and it was like proper like heavy snot. And then yeah, I knew.
Heavy snot.
Yeah, like it was
ugly, eh?
Yeah, it was like really ugly.
Yeah.
And then,
where were your energy levels like? Because I think that's one of the hardest things about fighting in general is that most of the time you're not fighting at 100%. Most of the time you're fighting with a little injury or you're really pushing the weight cut to the final limits, and a lot of fighters report fighting without proper energy levels. So where were your energy levels considering that you were sick at the time?
to be honest, like even when I was hitting pads like in the back or in the room, I was like, my energy was not there. Like I had no snaps on my punches. Like the cardio was really bad.
Yeah.
I still thought like I could finish him, but it's close.
Yeah, it was a very close
really
fight.
close.
And I will admit, when I watched the fight back, I was kind of, I wouldn't say disappointed in any way.
Yeah.
I think you definitely had your moments there, but I could tell that you didn't have the same ferocity and the same assertion that you usually have in your fights. Because when you fight, you're a very dominating character. You like to push forward. You like to snap the low calf kick. You like to throw the hands. If people try to take you down, you're very good at your clinch work and you're just always present. You're one of those fighters I feel like just loves to press forward and be in your face. I'd say almost in a similar style to Volkanovski in that his footwork is exceptional and he's just pushing forward, always applying pressure. And I think you have a very similar style to that. And I don't think in that Eternal fight that we saw that side of you. And I don't know if that's 100% to your to your fault. Rather, I think there was, you know, Dominic did a very good job of tying you up and pressing you against the cage. But I did find that interesting. And now that you told me that you were sick with COVID during the fight and you still performed the way you did, I mean, that's commendable, man.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, like he was a better man at the night, but like I would want to run that back.
Yeah, I would like to see that fight back.
I think we're like just one under each other in the rankings, so we should run it back, but yeah.
How much attention do you pay to those rankings?
I just looked at it the other day because I had my last fight and I want to see where I was at. But yeah, I don't really pay attention to
Number
that stuff.
10, sir.
Oh, am I? 10.
Number 10. Like that's, considering you started fighting a year ago, that's crazy. But I attribute a lot of that to your activity as well. I don't want to veer too far away. So you were prepping for this Eternal fight, right? And you were really fucking sick. Was there a point in your camp, or was there a point in the preparation of this fight where you said, you know what, like we've just got to pull the plug on this, like it's not going to happen?
No, I'll never do that.
Right.
I'll never pull out. I missed a couple of days of training, but it's because I was really sick as well. It's like lead it up, it was full weird. Like I had like the cold, I got tested, I didn't have it, and then a week later I had it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I would never pull out. Unless I was really injured. It's only amateur, like just fight. A lot of people pull out, like Percy, I don't know if you know Percy. His opponent pulled out on weigh-in day. You know Michael? His opponent pulled out 10 minutes before they were about to walk out. How do you do that? Like, amateur MMA. But I don't know, yeah, it is what it is.
What do you attribute that to? Do you think people just don't know how to deal with the nerves? Do you think people put too much pressure on themselves? The moment gets to them? Well,
fight week you shouldn't be sparring like that hard. Like it doesn't matter if you touch play, but yeah, Percy's opponent, I think he hurt his neck or something. Michael's opponent, I don't know, just like probably the nerves. Because I think the cage broke at the Hex fight, so they took about an hour to fix it. And he was like in our locker room for some reason. I was watching Michael warm up, and yeah, just pulled out. He said he didn't want to fight. Just went straight to the bar. That's what it was.
Yeah, man. I think that's, it's really fight day that separates the chalk from the cheese, and you really see who's about it, who's gonna press forward, who's gonna deliver on everything that they said they're going to do and everything that they're preparing they're going to do, and then you've got the people that can't and the people that fall short. And I think that's a lot of mental acuity. I think that's a lot of the ability to remain resilient and focused and make wise decisions. Like you said, you shouldn't be sparring the week before you camp. But usually the week before you fight you're just focused on weight, right?
Yeah, weights, pads, sweat. Like it's not hard.
It's a couple sauna sessions. You might go jogging, hit pads a couple times, but you wouldn't be sparring, not the week before a fight. There's so much risk in that.
Yeah, you can hurt yourself like with anything, toes, like literally anything.
You said that you were in the States before. What were you doing there?
I was there on a holiday.
Right.
For 3 weeks. And then, yeah, I came back.
Which part of the States?
I was in LA and New York.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah? What's LA like? I've never been.
It's all right. There's a lot of, like, it's pretty sad. There's a lot of homeless people. So, like, it makes you grateful for what you have.
I've heard that. Like, the homeless problem in LA is crazy right now.
It's pretty bad. Like, when I was there, I realized, like, how grateful I was. But, yeah, it's pretty good other than that. Like,
did you see anything fucked up?
To be honest, no. I could tell that like every second person that I walked past smelled like drugs.
Right.
Like, they have like drug vans everywhere, but it's natural there, I guess. But a lot of people, you could tell they had like guns on them and stuff. So just like keep to yourself.
Yeah, you have to, right? There's like a different kind of tension there when I don't think you'd see it as much in LA, but when you know that in the States everyone can just carry. And anyone can fuck you up at any point in time.
Yeah, literally any time. So just keep to yourself. Like, don't try and be a hero. If there's a problem, just walk past it.
Fair enough. So you mentioned to me a little bit earlier that you're actually planning on going back to the States soon.
Yeah. I'm there for 7 weeks.
What's drawn you to the States? Why are you going there?
I'm going to go train. I'm in Vegas for a bit. I'm going to train at Extreme. Home of the heavyweight champion in Ghana. So yeah, my coach has some contacts there, so I'm gonna go train there for a bit.
That must be quite surreal.
Yeah, it is. Gonna try and do some rounds there, see what's up.
This might be my most controversial opinion I've given to date. No one cares. You're not the number one podcast. Keep saying we're on a mission. You only got 60 views in 2 days. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Hemp Canned Labs, a proud sponsor of Luca's podcast. These guys have an entire range of CBD oils, gummies, and vapes for you smokers out there that specifically is designed to provide you with high quality CBD. So whether you're trying to deal with stress, anxiety, muscle recovery, or you just enjoy that relaxation effect that comes with CBD. I use it personally before every podcast, and if you use promo code LUCA, you're going to get 15% off your next purchase. How are you training physically?
Like how I know you said that you're training 6 days a week, right? But you must have some crazy strength and conditioning, because I've noticed that a lot of the fights you've taken up, especially the more recent ones, tend to be on 10 days notice, on 2 days notice. Like you've had these crazy last minute drawings and you're ready to go at the drop of a pin at any point in time. Like I bet if I said, could you be ready for a fight next Friday, you'd be there.
Fight tomorrow. Yeah, like at FFT, but just everyone's always in shape. Like no one's ever missing training. Just like non-stop training. That's all we do. We work, train, sleep, repeat 6 days a week. That's all we do.
Yeah.
We have the best coach. Like that's all him. We don't have 10, 20 coaches. We've just got one coach. You know what I mean? He patterns everyone.
Does that make it easier for to have one kind of regimented training style and fight style that comes out of the gym? Because when you've got there's like this case of you can have too many chefs in the kitchen where there's too many good coaches in one spot, and it might kind of muddle what everyone's kind of doing. Whereas if you've got one person that's running their regime, they kind of know their fighters best, they have a personal relationship with all of them, and they can steer the gym in a certain direction. You can just move faster because there's less people to butt heads with.
Yeah, for sure. Like I've seen a couple people that I know personally, like they'll have like 3, 4, 5, 6 coaches, and they don't perform as well as they can because like they're always doing different stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like you got to stick to one style and just chase that.
But you are also limited in the sense that you don't have alternate perspectives. So Renato might be a very good coach, which I'm sure he is, because he's
the best.
He's produced you, man, and you're an amazing fighter. But do you run into the problem of, he might have holes in his game or have holes in his ability to coach you?
No, I don't think he's got any holes. So we'll have like wrestling days, we'll have striking days, we'll have S&C days. So like, there's not really any holes.
What's the breakdown of that? Like, how often are you doing S&C? How often?
Twice a week.
Twice a week.
Tuesday, Thursday, yeah. And then I'll do MMA after.
Right.
Yesterday it was Thursday, yeah. So we'll pump weights, and then the boys will move around. We'll do pads or we'll grapple, and then we'll do MMA. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's it's a good breakdown, because I think a lot of fighters neglect the physical. I think they often neglect the conditioning, and they just want to focus on the technique, or they just want to focus on the sparring.
Well, you can see that in the fight. They go in there in the first round and you can see they're not really conditioned.
You see the gas tank go very quickly.
Even in 30, 40 seconds, like you'll see their hands start to drop, or like they'll huff and puff. But if you're just doing what we do 6 days a week, you won't really see that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the things I do notice in your fights is that, like I said before, you are very assertive and you do like to push forward. So that does require a lot of physical exertion. Like it
is tiring, but like
to maintain that pace and that rhythm, right? Like you'd have to have just the deepest gas tank possible. You'd have to be able to draw in the most amount of oxygen possible.
Yeah, well, on Monday nights and Friday arbos, today I'll be doing it after this. We do like this thing called like King of the Wall, and we just wrestle for 40 minutes straight on the wall, non-stop.
Right.
No breaks, no nothing. So that's also like conditioning as well for us. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, and I will admit that wall wrestling that you've got going is that clinch work that you've got going on is exceptional. Like it really shows in your fights. When people do try and pin you, you're very composed, you're very balanced.
Yeah. It's just all hips and stuff. You just, whichever way they're shooting, you face them that way. Yeah, control their hands. It's MMAFFT wrestling.
So how much say do you have in your next opponents? Like how much say do you have in setting up fights? Because you've fought on various cards now. You've fought on Urban, you've fought on Eternal, you've fought on Road to Hex, you've fought on your most recent one, I forgot the name of the promotion. Beatdown. How much say do you have in where your next fight's going to take place? Do you just leave that in the hands of someone else? Like, how do you manage that?
Yeah, I don't choose fights at all. It's just my coach will call me, say you're fighting, or he'll message me. I'm like, sweet. Like, we're always ready. So I don't really choose. But next year, I do want to fight for a couple of couple belts.
You want to go for belts?
Yeah, and then I want to go overseas and do IMMAF. You know, IMMAF Worlds.
Yeah.
I want to try and win that top 3 at least. I think I could place top 3.
How stacked is that division in your weight class?
Lightweight's like probably the most stacked card in the world. So it's every top lightweight in the country. It's like World Cup, like everyone just...
Yeah. I had Tank on and he won at super
yeah.
heavyweight.
Oceania, yeah, he did good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just, I want to win that, win a couple of belts and then go pro.
Any hesitation on taking these 10-day prep fights, 2-day prep fights? Like, cause that's rough. Like, how are you even making weight on 2 days notice?
To be honest, I don't cut much weight. I should be fighting at 66.
Right.
I walk around natural 70.
That's such an advantage, man.
Yeah, so I can float between I've never had a proper camp. I've never had 6-8 week camps.
Yeah, well, you could.
The longest I've had was eternal when it was 2.5 weeks. Like, I've never had a proper camp. So I could float 66, I can go 70. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, well, you would. I think that's such a massive advantage that not enough fighters is fighting at your walking weight, because you go into the fight healthier.
Yeah, like too many people, they think, oh, I'm going to cut this much weight, like from 77 to 70, 75 to 70. What for? Like, you're not going to have that much strength difference. You know what I mean? I get if you're a pro, but like realistically, like, you know, just walk around near your weight. It's like try to weight bully, but I feel like I have the strength to compete at 70 and 66.
Yeah, I think a lot of people try and be heroes with their weight cuts. I was speaking to Christoph, who he's a nutritionist and dietitian, but specifically works with MMA fighters.
Yeah, he works with our team a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you've worked closely with Christoph before then?
For my fights, we have a chat, yeah.
Yeah. Does he help you with the meal preps and stuff?
Yeah, it depends. If I fight at 66, he'd help me. But when I'm at 70, I'm basically on weight.
Yeah.
So I don't really, yeah. Sometimes he helps me with the rehydration. Like, I'll ask him or something like that, and he'll say, well, write me out something. But yeah, other than that, I'm usually around the walking weight, so don't really need it.
And how much attention are you paying to your nutrition?
I meal prep 6 days a week.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I'm having rice, chicken, broccoli. Breakfast, I'll have yogurt and muesli.
Mm-hmm.
And then for dinner, I'll have whatever's made.
So it's pretty regimented then? You don't break much off your diet?
No. Unless, just that 1 day a week, I have takeaway or something.
Yeah.
Just to cheat, yeah.
Gotta throw the Maccas in there every once in a while, right?
Yeah, why not?
Why
Everyone
not?
knows I love my food.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to cheat food?
KFC with these guys.
Yeah.
Zinger stack, yeah.
Oh, that's the way to go, man.
It's my favourite.
The Zinger's a classic.
Yeah. I used to work there. I worked there 4 years.
Oh, that could not have been good for your diet.
Yeah. Actually, it was when I was younger, before I started MMA.
Right.
So it was all right. But then once I started getting into MMA, I left that and I jumped straight in. My coach got me a job in construction.
When did you get into MMA?
2.5 years ago. 2
Okay.
years ago.
So, and before that, you'd never thrown a punch?
No, like I said, I was always training at home, hitting the bag. It's not proper training. Or we had this thing, it's really weird. At school, we had this thing called Fight Club. So everyone used to punch.
I like this story already.
Yeah, everyone would punch on. Everyone would try and come in and watch. Even the girls would be in the boys' bathroom.
Yeah.
I wish I had my old phone. I'd send you the videos. But
You can send it to me afterwards.
yeah, it's you can put it in the thing.
Yeah.
It was.
It's going to be
fun.
right there.
Yeah, wherever. But yeah, we used to just all my life with my brothers, my mates at school, just for fun. It was never personal. I'm not that type of person to cause beef in the streets and stuff, but
Yeah.
just for fun because we loved fighting.
So, where were these fight clubs breaking down? Because you
The
said
toilet.
in the toilets.
Yeah, our school's gonna see this. I think it still goes on. Me and my friends started it. We're just oh, why don't we just do it for fun? So but if someone proper.
So how does that
each
first conversation go down? You go, hey, bro, you want to go to the bathroom and just
literally,
punch on?
he used to come over and we used to spar. And he's oh, bring your gloves to school tomorrow. And then it kind of started like that. And then we full made an Instagram page and everything. It was full funny. And then the teachers would come in. They'd say the whole school trying to barge into the toilets. And then we have 2 boys acting like they're just rap battling or something. Just lie like that. And we used to hide the gloves and the MMA gloves. We had this hole in the roof and we just chuck them up there until the cleaners found it. So then we'd have to take it home and come back the next day.
Right. That's hilarious. So you guys like were full gloves with the refs?
Yeah, nah, there was just someone on the timer.
Right.
And like, we'd have that one person on the side just in case like you'd fall into the toilet, like the urinal or something.
Any like head kicks, flying knees,
It just depends,
elbows?
like, if someone didn't really like each other,
Yeah.
you choose like punch, kick. A lot of times it was just boxing,
Right.
but some people did punch on, like, yeah,
The proper.
everything, like knees, wrestling, which was weird. 'cause
Takedowns
the
would be
urinal was right there.
disgusting.
Yeah, like literally. But no one really shot, to be honest. But yeah, it was pretty fun.
Imagine you're just like, you're on, someone's in your guard and you just like piss on the
Just
back of
yuck.
your head. It'd be the worst.
It was a few times there were people on their back and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I miss those days. It was the best.
So you've always just had a passion for fighting then?
Yeah, like even I did football from 4 years old to 16.
Like football, like
As
the
in
egg
soccer.
football or the proper
Soccer, it's
football?
foot football,
Yeah,
soccer, yeah.
sweet.
Anyways, yeah, like even at training, I'd always hit the cones, kick the cones, and my coach would always tell me, I just knew I needed to fight.
What position were you?
Striker and right wing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just dirty elbows all the time.
Yeah,
Going
why
up
not?
a header's like,
No, I was actually pretty clean straight out.
oh, for real?
Yeah, like I would never sook kick. If I got chopped, I'd just get up.
Yeah.
keep playing. But yeah.
Well, that would have like built a really solid base for your cardio to begin with.
Yeah,
Because
for
running,
sure.
you like football is just a 90-minute sprint, man.
Yeah,
It's back and
non-stop.
forth and back and forth. Except strikers, they're fucking lazy.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
I used to drop down to like the mid area.
Yeah.
Help the midfield out.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, they are pretty lazy.
Yeah, strikers just fucking they get the
Sit on the halfway line.
for real,
Literally.
and they just get like that
That one break off, they start running.
that
Score
one
the
photo
goal.
op with them getting that final header, and you're like, bro, you walked around for 30 minutes. I think it used to be like that, honestly, but I think now with teams using a lot more of a higher press and playing a higher line and looking to play off sides, you do see like strikers getting a lot more involved in the press, unless you've got someone like Neymar, for example, who's just going to sit there. Yeah, but I think the majority of strikers now, especially when you look at the Premier League and stuff, they're playing very high lines, they're pressing very early on. So I think that anecdote's changed a little bit. I want to go back to your MMA debut, right?
Yeah.
You get caught up to Urban Fight Night. Talk me through, like, from the call up to the moment your hand gets raised. Tell me that experience.
I took it on 14 days notice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think 10 even. I'm not too sure. I don't remember. But yeah, he just said you're fighting. I was like, sweet.
Prior to that, were you looking for a fight?
Well, yeah, I was trying to make my debut.
Right.
I was trying to make it for like the first 6 months when I first started. But yeah, I was
This
just...
guy's fucking crazy. 6 months experience, you want to jump straight into the cage. You're wild, dude.
Yeah, I love fighting, like, every day. Like, yeah, I'll fight tomorrow, like, I don't care.
Yeah, I believe.
But yeah, it's just normal training. Like, I was still training 6 days a week back then to what I'm doing now.
Right.
Same thing every week. So yeah, that was basically my camp, just
So
7 days.
Suman gives you a call up and says, hey, do you want to... Well, Suman calls Renato calls you and says, hey, we want you on an Urban card. Can you make weight in 14 days' time?
I was on weight already.
Yeah,
It's
of course.
too easy, yeah. So yeah, I just, same old, just did my training.
Did you increase the intensity?
The rounds, yeah.
Yeah.
The rounds were a lot. But I did a lot of... I think I did proper sparring for a couple of days, and then obviously you have to have that rest because it's 5 weeks. But it was intense, the pads. But yeah, it was pretty good. Just 10 days notice.
Because there is like a different kind of intensity that you train with when you're just, say, honing your craft, developing new techniques, trying to, you know, get those triangles absolutely on point or really focus on that, you know, 3-punch combo. Like there's a difference of just fine-tuning technique, and then there's a difference between that and preparing for a camp where you're like, okay, shit, I actually need to look at the toolkit that I have and how I'm going to apply this. There's a very big difference.
Yeah, there is.
Did you feel like something shifted in you as soon as that call was made and you're like, okay, we're fighting in 14 days
Yeah,
time?
definitely my mentality. Like, you know, training sometimes just, like you said, just like not as intense. Just the pad sessions were a lot intense, the rounds were. I remember I was actually injured in my left leg that week from getting kicked a lot in the leg.
Right.
And then I came out in the fight. I don't know if you remember the first minute, I was getting chopped like non-stop. I didn't realize I was in a fight. Like I was living in the moment.
Yeah.
And like I blinked and I was like, fuck, like I'm in a fight. And then
Were there any nerves in the lead up, like when you say get to the arena?
Nah, to be honest, like I don't really have nerves when I walk out. Like I do it every day. It's just in the gym.
Right.
So like, yeah, some people try and like play it off like they're, you know, you are going to war, but you know what I mean? Like they take it too emotional. They take it too much to heart. You just got to play. Like you're in the gym 6 days a week. You're doing it every day. You're sparring every day at the end. Just, yeah, had no nerves. Just walked in. I didn't realize I was in the fight till like a minute. So.
Is there a difference between living the fight in the moment for you and then watching it back afterwards?
Yeah.
What's the difference? What's the distinction in that feeling?
I feel like I could have done a lot more. Like even in my first fight, I feel like I didn't really fight how I usually fight, even though like I won by knockout of the night. It's like I feel like I didn't fight like how I usually fight.
You would have obviously seen a lot more openings, right? You would have seen a lot more opportunities because you get that playback opportunity. You get the ability to kind of find peak every single moment. But as an emotional experience, does it feel different watching it back for you?
Not really.
No.
Like, just the same. Like I said, I do it 6 days a week. There's not really.
So it's just another day in the office
Just
for you.
yeah, literally another day in the office. Like people, like I said, people take it way too emotional and way too serious, and that's how you get hurt. That's how you lose a fight, in my opinion.
You let your emotions get the best of you.
You try and charge in there, hands up, and just swing. You're either going to get clipped like that, or you're just going to get tired.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Was there a moment in the fight where you felt like, oh, I got this. Like I'm fucking
hand, my first right hand dropped him straight away. So I was like,
yeah.
I just knew it. Like I wasn't switched on. I don't know why. Like the first minute I was like, I wasn't in the moment. I was just like, I don't know where I was. But then I like blinked and I was like, oh, I'm in a fight.
Yeah.
And then the minute I landed.
It usually takes a punch or two that
Yeah, like he was kicking the leg and I didn't really feel it in the moment, but I was like, he's kicking my leg, like I got to throw.
Yeah.
And then like I just threw and like the minute I dropped him, I was like, yeah, I got in the bag.
Yeah, there's something psychologically that damages your opponent but also rewards you when you land a big shot. Like when you get a big right hand or a big, you know, body kick or whatever the case, when you get one of those really big shots, it kind of reestablishes the order a little bit, and so you've gone and earned your respect, and now that person has to answer to you. And if you don't give them that room to answer to you, then psychologically they're losing the war.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you're just touching them, they're like in their head, oh, I just go here, like I need a return or something.
Yeah.
And then you see that coming because they try and load it up. Then you tap them again, That's, like that.
Yeah, I think in your most recent fight we saw that actually, where you could see, was it Cody, Dominic? Who was your most recent opponent?
Nick Morgan or something.
Yeah, Moore. Well, everyone was calling him Moore. I could see Nick, especially in the latter rounds, because you were so dominant, you were so winning top position. I could see that he was really looking to load up that right hand, and it was just so obvious. Like he was like twitching, waiting to throw it.
I don't know if you saw his leg, like it was like shaking as
well. Fucked up.
Yeah. Like he held me against the fence, and I don't know if you're the commentators, but I looked down and like he couldn't stop shaking. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's just because the calf is like a nerve. So once you kick it, it's just like nerve damage.
Yeah, the proneal nerve, it wraps around from the back of your thigh all the way to the front of your knee and downwards. Yeah. So when you shut off that nerve and you're constantly chopping it over and over and over again, it shuts down the whole leg. And then you lose that ability to exert power in your jab, so you have to swap stances. But now you're fighting in an uncomfortable position, plus you've only got your jab because that cross isn't going to be as powerful. And on top of that, your forward and backward movement just isn't there anymore.
Yeah, you could tell like in the fight as well, it was like trying to pull guard. Honestly, the ref should have stopped it in the first round. Like I was landing like heavy ground and pound.
In the last 10 seconds, yeah.
Like even in the second round, in the opening, when I chopped, no, that was the first or second, I don't remember, but I chopped
in the first round, you caught him, you caught one of his kicks, and then you hit his legs twice, and then you dropped him, and then from there...
He got back up, and I did the same thing.
Yeah.
It was like a 4-kick combo.
Yeah.
And he fell down, and I went into his guard and like tried to finish.
And just
should have stopped it. Like I saw his eyes roll back every time like I hit him.
Ground and pound is terrifying for anyone, but seeing you ground and pound someone actually like scares me, bro. Like you're just so relentless with it. You don't give a fuck. You're throwing hammer fists for days.
Yeah, a
you're
lot
just
of people try to go wide when they punch.
yeah.
Just go straight down on the chin.
It's so
We do that a lot
efficient.
at training, we practice ground and pound.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone's got a pretty good ground and pound.
It translates, man, because it's like there's almost this I don't give a fuckness about it where you're just like, yep. Like just take that, keep eating that.
Yeah, for sure. Just a couple of times, then straight. And
The ref really, I think if that was a minute earlier into the fight, the ref would have caught it there and then.
yeah, the ref kept talking to him after, saying like throw something like between the rounds. I think he's seen in round 3 as well.
Yeah.
He's like fight back, otherwise I'm going to stop it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took that fight on 1 day's notice. It was on weigh-in day at 12 a.m. So I made weight like 6 hours later. No, 6 hours later I was at the airport. Made weight for.
Where was the fight?
It was in Brisbane.
In Brisbane. So you had to travel.
Yeah, I was on a flight. It's like 6 hours. Like I had just come out of a movie. I was at the movies. Like I had just fought 6 days ago on Hex. And I was like enjoying myself. Like I was having popcorn, chocolate. And my coach called me like midway through the movie. So like I had to put the popcorn and chocolate down. Yeah. And then had to put my Coke away. And then yeah,
Swap
like,
it out for a water real quick.
yeah, no, I just sat there and I didn't even watch the movie. I was just talking to my coach. I'm like, oh, it's on. He's like, yeah. And then the movie finished. It was 12 a.m. And then he said, yeah, like you're properly fighting. Come to the airport at 6 a.m. It was 12 a.m. at the time. Got to the airport, made weight. It was a catchweight bout as well. So
You came in at what 72?
72. I was 72.
Yep.
So yeah, it was pretty. I was on weight. Like I think I did 1 10-minute sauna just so I could be 72 on the dot. I think I don't remember.
Yeah. That's nuts, bro. I think that like is testament to your discipline and your ability to stay so focused on your nutrition and stay so focused on your training and consistent. You get the rewards and you get the opportunities that other fighters don't get because you're just always ready to go.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to go back to the urban fight though.
Yep.
So I believe it was deep into round 3. You are absolutely dominating the fight. You're having a lot of success with leg kicks. Your striking's very solid. And then out of nowhere, you snap this razor sharp head kick.
Well, I saw him rocks. Like I got up, and I don't know if you realize, but as we were getting up, I landed a sneaky ground and pound.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So I think if you have the video, you can play back. I was landing as it coming, as he got up.
Is it on YouTube?
Nah, it's on my Instagram though. I'll send you the video after. If
We
you
can pull it up on my laptop. Take 2 seconds.
want to pull it up to
Yeah,
you.
we'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So he got up and I landed a sneaky ground and pound on the right hand, and then when I push kicked him and I landed a 1-2, I saw him like shake his head.
Right.
So I just paused, cross hook, and I just threw the left high kick. Backstage, we were drilling that like the whole time. That was the game plan, like to get him on the back foot and kick him as he's circling off.
Yeah.
And it just worked. I tried before at the start. If you watch the fight, I kept loading it, and it was too noticeable. And I was giving him too much space. But after the takedown came, I feel like thought he was maybe going to get taken down again. And just
Yeah.
threw it. And then
I think what was was there an adrenaline rush after that, like to not only win your debut, which would have probably had a lot of pressure on you, even though you don't like to admit it. I imagine there would have been pressure on you just internally, right? You want to succeed and you want to do well. And then not only do you get the win, but you get it in such a devastating fashion.
Yeah, like after I did it, I hadn't realised that like I just knocked him out. So I just like walked off, and then I realised, and I just like screamed and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
in the video. Yeah, like I just walked off, and I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I have to celebrate. I just like yelled through my mouth.
That's like it was like the coldest part of that head kick was that firstly the way, because I was there, I was like in the front row. And I saw him drop and I was like, holy shit. And then you just walked away.
Yeah.
Like so cold. And I was like, who the fuck is that guy? I need to know who he is. Like it was like the highlight of the night for me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I made sure I got your name down straight away. And that's like the
sent
next
me a
step.
message that night.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had to take it up.
And so what's the celebration on an event like that?
As in, like,
Well, are you out partying that night?
no way. No party, no alcohol, no nothing. Just
Really?
went and ate, went straight home, and was in the gym the next day.
Really? Gym the next day?
Yeah. Even
after a
the Hex
fight?
straight after I landed, went straight to the gym and sparred.
Wow.
Like, I do it every day. Like, shouldn't be any different. But like I said, you should let your body recover. But I don't take that much damage. Obviously, in the future, like if you take damage, obviously, take a week off, a couple of days off. But yeah.
Yeah, because that's a high risk game of poker you're playing there.
For sure. Like,
especially if you're fighting depleted or if you're fighting on short notice, like you might absorb that damage early now and like be okay with it. But you, like you said, this is a marathon. This is a long game. This is a 10, 15 year plan in getting into the UFC. So there has to be like a strategy with the recovery as well, just as much as there's a strategy with the preparation.
Yeah, for sure. I did make that mistake after my enduro fight, the flying knee. I went and wrestled and sparred the next day, and like my whole calf just shut down. I don't know, maybe because I kept throwing leg kicks in that fight as well. Yeah. And then I was out for a couple of days because of that, which is stupid, but yeah.
How much time do you get to develop the skills and develop the new techniques or refine the new techniques because you are so active?
Well, in training, we work on like certain things, and once we do that, we'll go into like you said, another skill or whatever, and then we'll do that, and then after all that, we'll try and go back to the basics as well, just to refine things and sharpen things. That's like a rotating, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but you spend most of your year in camp.
Yeah, that's like always like that. Like I wouldn't even call it, it is camp technically, but it's just training. Like you gotta love it. You can't like go in a camp, then take a couple of weeks off, go party, drink. Well, you can, but it's not gonna get you anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go back.
But it's not even that, man. I think like I said before, there's a difference between being in camp and training. And in training, you're, like I said, you're working on pulling guard, you're working on your triangles, you're working on your arm bars. Is that exactly the same thing that you're doing in these fight camps as well? Because I imagine...
it's just more intense, if that makes sense. And I try to add more conditioning.
But the training itself doesn't change that much. There might just be more intensity.
The same, you know what I mean? You do the classes. Obviously, you do extra stuff after the classes with one of the training partners, hit pads, make it intense, but yeah.
How do you plan on increasing your competition level? Because I think... you are in the amateurs and you are getting your cage time and your fight experience, but I think one of the criticisms people might have of you is that a lot of the guys you fought don't have much experience. So a lot of these guys that you fought have 1, 2, 3 fights maybe.
I've had 4 fights, same thing. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, like if you look at the record, like some of them are 1-0 or 0-0. So how do you look at increasing that competition level as you go?
Like I said, I'll fight anyone. Like they can have 10 fights, 15 fights. Honestly, I feel like I do better with the pros in our team and other gyms than when I do with the amateurs. Like I don't like to like sound cocky or anything, but that's what I'm saying. So like I want the competition to rise. I don't care if they have 7-0, 8-0, 9-0.
Right.
Like I don't care. Like I'll fight anyone. But yeah, like, I don't get what you mean.
So it's just like the people that are willing to fight and are going to jump in right now just happen to be on that.
Yeah, like in Australia, no one's really got that much experience, to be honest. Like they'll do it for a couple of years, but when you're in pros, it's a different story. Obviously, amateurs, not many people are crazy good or like have crazy experience. You know what I mean?
Are there any amateurs that you look at right now? And I know you're going to say the boys at your gym, obviously, but like maybe let's look at outside gyms or, you know, in different competitions and stuff. Are there any of the amateurs that you look at right now and go, oh, that's like, he's a good fighter, I want that fight?
To be honest, I don't pay attention to anyone else or any other gym.
Right.
Just my team. I really believe that our gym, FFT, we're just doing things completely different. Like, I honestly think we are the best flyweight, best bantam, best featherweight, best lightweight, best heavyweight, like in Australia.
It's a bold claim to make.
I don't care. Like, it's firm. Like, we're just doing things completely different. We're taking fights on short notice. We're now getting belts. I feel like we're taking over. We're going to take over Australia, and then we're going to go overseas and take over that, for sure.
I like that.
I hate sounding cocky, but Yeah, like I don't pay attention to no one. Like,
So you just see a name on the sheet and you're like, yep.
yeah, I have no time to go on social media, look at other fighters. I see people stalk me. I won't say any names, like I know who you are, but like I don't care. Like it's amateur, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Doesn't bother me.
Are you concerned at all that as you do build this fight record and as you do get more extensive in your depth, and let's say touch wood, you go 6-1, 7-1, 8-1, 9-1, 10-1, do you get concerned that the pool of people that are willing to fight you might decrease? Because you do see a lot of that in boxing, where someone might be 14-1, but suddenly no one wants to fight them anymore because no one wants to take that L.
Yeah, well, when that happens, I'll go pro.
Right.
And I think that'll be after IMMAF, the Worlds.
So you're looking at probably a 2-year period and then pros?
End of next year, January end of next year.
End of next year.
Hopefully, if that's up to my coach, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Win a couple belts, win IMMAF, and then go pro.
Will we see you on another urban card?
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Most likely.
Right.
It just depends,
Yeah.
honestly. I was trying to get on the last one, but like, I think I fought an enduro instead
Yeah.
in Canberra, but yeah.
Are there specific organizations that you've enjoyed working with the most, that you felt have been the most conducive to you fighting well, like that have taken care of you the best?
Enduro was really good.
Yeah.
That's in Canberra. That's one of honestly the best. And I like it's like a full-size cage as well.
What was different about enduro?
As in like the way they treat you. Like
Yeah.
we got to the hotel, there was like jumpers for us. There was like food, stuff like that. They give you money as well for fight of the night, knockout of the night. So they look after us. As well as beatdown. Beatdown was pretty good.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, amateurs, we don't get paid. And if we're going like to another state, like it cost us money. Like,
Yeah, it adds up real
of,
quick.
They took care of the Ubers. It was really good.
Yeah. It's those little details, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like we don't get paid nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like zero. Like I've only made I think $1,000 and that was off that enduro card. Actually, I got paid for taking the fight on 1 day's notice as well.
Right.
It was only a couple $100, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah. But no, it's one of those bizarre sports where you're paying to get punched in the head.
Yeah, for sure. But
You
we enjoy that.
Yeah. Well, you don't get punched very often anyways.
Dude. Maybe not, but it's all right.
When you look at the current UFC roster and you look at the way, especially the division that you're in right now, the way it's just so stacked and it's so heavy. Like there's not much breathing room, especially on the top end. On the top end, it is ridiculously stacked. Do you look at that and draw inspiration from anyone specifically?
Yeah, like I really like Charles Oliveira's striking.
Right.
Like I like it so crisp, the way he lifts his leg up and then comes back with the cross and stuff like that. I like his striking. I like also Armin Sarukian, the way he wrestles. I like a lot of those boys. I like Jan striking.
Peter Yan is the
His
most
striking-
underrated fighter in the whole UFC roster.
Like, I honestly think he's the best striker in the UFC.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Scary.
He is as well. He might be small, but
It's
like
terrifying.
Yeah.
Just so quick and so strong and vicious. Every punch has intention. He wants violence. He wants nothing less than to hurt you. And honestly, I think he got robbed against Sugar.
It was a close fight.
I like
honestly,
Sugar.
yeah.
I like Sugar, but I don't think he won that fight.
I like both of them. I was honestly going for both of them, whoever won.
Yeah.
It was a fight that I couldn't pick, but
You
like-
watch it as a fan, right? You just
Yeah.
enjoy it for what it is.
yeah, for sure. But like, I feel like he did do damage, O'Malley. With the wrestling, when he didn't really do much with the damage, but yeah.
Yeah, it might I think you could watch it 15 different ways, and depending on your
Yeah,
criteria.
Exactly. If you're a striker, you'll base it off like the thing, but if you're a wrestler, you'll be like, he took him down and everything.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's why the judging on MMA is so tricky.
Yeah. In the Queensland fight, my eternal fight, like, he was from there. Once I knew it went the distance, I was like,
I don't think it
win.
was should have been a unanimous decision.
no, yeah, I don't know. Like, he did hold me against the cage pretty well. I had no like energy to like really like fight and turn him around and stuff. After the first round, like I was really gassed, but I still fought. Like, nearly finished him in round 3 with the ground and pound. I nearly submitted him like 15 seconds in or 20 seconds in. But yeah, the judging's pretty bad.
I think with that fight in particular, what you faced was he just had more moments. He just, because the
I wouldn't
majority.
say moments. I feel like it was more like cage control time. I feel like I had like the more moments like when I was striking and stuff. Every time we separated, like every time we separated, I feel like I was landing the better, but it did no damage. Like I had no snap. It was cut up a bit.
He was really cut up.
His face like was
You had
bloody.
his blood all over like the side of your head.
It was on my undies as well. I went home and it was like blood everywhere. I had to throw them out.
How do you explain that you lost that fight when you're covered in the other person's blood, right?
Yeah, but they did hold me against. I feel like they really like the cage control time, I guess, over there.
Yeah,
like, Eternal's a top promotion. You know what I mean? Like I would fight there again for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think they're the premier.
Australia.
The premier of Australian MMA. Absolutely. It's unquestionable. The caliber of fighters they have on there, the caliber of production they have on there, the caliber of exposure they bring.
Yeah, a lot of the Aussie boys that were on UFC now, they fought over there or Hex.
Yeah.
2 biggest shows in Australia.
Yeah. And like some of the craziest names, man. I mean, Caleb Rideout, Dempsey Gillis. I mean, the roster that Eternal has is just unparalleled to anyone else. And I think
It's the most stacked.
yeah,
It has everything, everyone.
but I think the thing for fighters that they have to keep in mind is that to get onto a promotional like Eternal, or when you feel like you're ready to do that, you need to have ironed everything out, because you want to get onto that promotion and have a very smooth run. You want to be able to get to the top of the heap pretty quickly. So what that means is you have to look at other organizations as training grounds and platforms to get you ready for that. And when you feel like you can go on a 10 fight beaten streak, then that's when you go onto Eternal.
Yeah, it is that stacked. There's a lot of good guys on there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because if you can have a good streak on Eternal, man, I mean, you're knocking on the doors of the bigger
So UFC,
promotions,
yeah,
right?
For sure, UFC, Bellator.
Yeah.
For sure.
Even
That's
one
on
FC.
UFC Fight Pass as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So like, there's always eyes on it.
Yeah. So I've heard you say numerous times throughout this interview now that you have the best MMA team in Australia, in MMAFFT. Why are you so confident in your ability to say that when there are plenty of other gyms out there that will say that they have the best gym in Australia?
I feel like no one's working as hard as us,
Right.
in my opinion. From what I've seen, we've had other people from other gyms, I won't say what gyms, and the way like they spar, the way they like, I just don't think that like any other gyms on our level.
What do you see specifically?
Well, it's all different, like, but no one's like doing what we're doing. No one's fainting. No one has like the IQ that I feel like our team has, if that makes sense. As in, like, even when it's cage wrestling, like, you'll see a lot of people's hips that are square, like they're just asking to get taken down. No one's really turning their hips. No one's fighting their hands. Like, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, even with the striking, no one's fainting. Like, it's MMA, you got to add the feints, you got to drop your level, strike when you drop your level. Like, yeah.
Is the training style at your gym very methodical? Is it very like, now we're gonna feint, hit the 1-2? Like, is it very?
We add a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Feints, we level change. Sometimes we'll shoot, or like we'll level change. People think we're gonna wrestle. You come up with the right hand, like uppercut, just anything.
How intense is the sparring?
Sunday's obviously the hardest. That's our sparring day.
Sunday's your sparring day.
Instead of Saturday, Sunday, yeah. So Sunday is like go time, like fighting.
Yeah.
We do spar at the end of every session.
Oh,
but,
really? Every
yeah,
session?
we spar every day. That's like another way. Like, no one's doing that.
Yeah, I don't think there's many
No
gyms doing
we
that.
spar every day. So obviously we're not trying to knock each other out, but we're still playing, touching, moving, feinting. So yeah, like sparring every day.
Who do you think are the standouts of your gym right now? If you had to put money on a handful of fighters to make it to the UFC from your gym right now, who would you put your money on?
I don't want to pick, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
I almost feel like every competitor has like the level to go to the UFC. Like in every weight, flyweight we have Percy, bantamweight we have Anthony, featherweight we have Michael, lightweight we'd have.
Give their full name so people can go and
We
look
got
into their.
Michael Lorenzo, Anthony Pascalis. We got Percy. I don't know how to say his last name. I don't know butcher it here. We got Percy. We got Jack Alexander. Well, you know Jack.
Yeah.
Jack's an animal. We got Abraham Parku. He's another animal. He just won the Hex belt. But yeah, we got up and comers now as well. Like even not just the competitors, like we have the younger generation as well, like the 13-year-olds, even the kids. Like we have Hamza, he's just finished school, been training 1 year, and like he gives like everyone a good go. Like even so, as I was saying, like the younger generation, we have like 13.
Doesn't that like scare you a little bit?
On how quickly they are, like evolve,
how quickly they learn.
Literally, like at our gym, like 3 months at MMA is like a year. Like I feel like in any other gym, like everyone's learning so quickly, whether it's striking, wrestling, grappling. Like you'll see some strikers come to our gym. For example, like Max. I don't know if you know Max. Max, he fought on Urban twice. He came in as a striker and now he's a wrestler. Like when we spar, like he tries to shoot, like before he was striking, like everyone changes. Like I feel like their game just changes so much.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's probably a bias in that the first discipline that you get introduced to is the one that you kind of stick to the most. Like for me personally, I found boxing straight away. Boxing was my initial discipline, and MMA boxing, let's call it, because it's not traditional boxing. And so I'd found that for the first year that I was training, I'd just really rely on my hands and really rely on striking, even though my striking wasn't exceptional. Like it wasn't great. And mind you, I'm not training 6 days a week. Like I'm not looking to get into the UFC anytime soon. I found that for myself, I was very biased towards striking. I'd always want to strike. I'd always want to trade. And then once I started developing more of a ground game, I was like, oh, hang on, wait, this actually lends itself to my body more. Like it's going to be easier for me to take people down. It's going to be easy for me to hold people down because I've just got a shorter, stockier build and I can apply a lot of pressure in that sense. And it's good to have their hands for sure, but if I hone in on the wrestling and if I hone in on the ground game, then that's where my natural strengths are just going to be. So I think a lot of people probably have an inclination to follow that first discipline that they learn, and even though that might not be the optimized discipline for them.
Yeah, like I said, like you said, sorry. Like everyone has that discipline they start with, but the beauty of it is like a lot of the people that just that just started never had trained before. So like MMA is their first discipline.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're constantly mixing it. Like MMA was my first discipline. I didn't do boxing. I didn't do kickboxing. I didn't do wrestling, jiu-jitsu. It was just MMA. So it makes you like more complete.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the new generation, they've never done anything. They've just done MMA.
Well, MMA has become its own discipline now.
Yeah, literally. Like people would say, like still nowadays, people go box. They don't do MMA training. They do boxing, jiu-jitsu. Like you got to put it together.
Yeah.
That'll give you the best results.
Yeah.
And that no one does it better than Ronaldo. So yeah, like he puts it together so well.
Yeah, I want to touch back on the fact that you've got like these young kids coming up now that are looking very sharp and very dangerous. I've heard a couple of gyms say that. I know Triple X Fight Academy, which has an excellent program as well. They've got a lot of guys coming up, and I mean, they've got some 17, 18-year-olds, man, that are winning like championships for state, internationally, for the country. Like it's pretty intense, the fighters that they've got coming out of there. And I think we're seeing the rate of the evolution in fighters just increase over and over and over again, because where you might leave off in your fight career, someone else is going to pick up, and they've seen you fight so many times, so there's just so much more information for them to absorb. Yeah. And MMA is one of those distinctly unique sports where you can constantly be learning something new. You can constantly be improving. You could kind of parallel it to football, right? Like in football, absolutely there's always stuff to learn, but the reality is that there's only a few amount of options that you've really got. Pass, shoot, you can put spin on the ball and you can curl it certain ways, and there's different tactics and stuff. But in terms of the game evolving as much, it's not really doing so. It's just everything around the game is evolving. It's the strategies and the gameplay. But we're seeing new jiu-jitsu techniques come out all the time. Yeah. We're seeing new striking patterns come out all the time. We're seeing new Muay Thai combinations come out all the time. Like it's nuts. The sport of mixed martial arts has evolved more in the last 50 years with the progression of the UFC and all the other organizations than the last thousands of years. Like martial art, like you said, mixed martial arts has become its own martial art now.
Yeah, like if you see all the old dogs in UFC, like they're starting to like lose, and the up and comers are starting to beat.
Yeah.
It's because the game's evolved.
And it's so quick, a couple years, man.
It's always evolving.
That's why I feel like Connor's going to have such a hard time coming back, because it's like,
I'm a Connor fan.
I'm a Connor fan as well. I fucking love the guy. But I think he's going to have such a hard time coming back because of all this time off he's taken. And, you know, some because he's just fuck you rich, and others because obviously, you know, he's a broken leg and he's recovering and he might be on the pads, you know. So he's got to make sure he gets past his USADA exams, but I think it's going to be really hard for him to come back.
I'm going to be biased.
Yeah.
When he becomes champion.
Yeah. You think he takes it out again?
Yeah.
How do you think he does it, man? Because everyone knows his game.
Well, now that Islam's champ, I
Yeah.
feel like it might be a bit hard. But I will be biased. I think Connor would sleep him.
Yeah.
Only because I'm a Connor fan. But yeah.
Right.
Like if it was Charles Oliveira, I honestly thought he was going to take the money fight, wait for Connor to return, and then Connor, yeah. But I'm a Charles fan as well. But
Yeah, you are a
I feel
Charles
like
fan.
Connor would have. I feel like that was going to happen, but it never happened.
I think Khabib poked so many holes in his game and everyone kind of saw it
Yeah,
for what it was. I mean,
that's
Khabib
true.
outstruck Connor.
Yeah,
No one
Very
outstrikes Connor, right?
yeah, that's true. No one's really ever done it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say Mendes, but he wasn't really leading. Like he wasn't outstriking. Like he was leading heavy shots, but Connor ate it. Just kept walking forward.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Khabib did expose. Like, not really expose. I feel like he just outworked him everywhere. Like, wasn't really exposed. Like, took him down, held him, ground and pound. Because when someone's on top of you, ground and pounding, that your energy level just shrinks. So
Yeah. Yeah. And Connor's, you know, notorious for not having the best gas tank in the world. He's a 1 to 2 round fighter in an ideal world for him. He doesn't want to go the distance. He doesn't want to go 5 rounds. He wants to get you out in 2. And so I think that's going to be, you know, I think when you've got fighters like Islam, you've got fighters like Charles, you've got fighters like Volk.
yeah, Volk's an animal. I love
Volk's-
the way he fights. He'll touch you from anywhere. He'll go southpaw, jab, outside. Like he's always
His
touching.
fight IQ, in my opinion, is the best in the UFC.
Yeah, for sure.
His fight IQ is the best in the UFC.
He's so good.
He's so good.
I love his striking.
He's so good. Like the way he tore up Max Holloway, who was quote in quote the best boxer in all of UFC, and the way Max Holloway was just eating Volkanovski shots from every single angle imaginable. Like Volk made him look like an amateur.
Yeah, he was hitting from everywhere.
From everywhere.
Yeah.
From everywhere. Did you see that photo of Volk after the fight, just covered in blood? And you just like you have to respect that, man. That's IQ on a different level.
Yeah, Volk's he's just an animal.
Yeah.
His work ethic, by the looks of it, is like crazy.
Yeah. I know the couple of guys that fight at or train at his gym, and they all say the same thing. Like once you train with him, you understand why he is a champ.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
it just makes sense.
I'd love to go there.
Are you gonna go to Perth?
Yeah, I am. Are you?
Yeah.
I have to go.
100%.
Especially if Volk's fighting.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
And they've already confirmed Rob Whittaker for that fight.
Yeah, and Costa.
Yeah.
A lot of the Aussie boys are fighting.
Yeah,
Jake Matthews, I'm pretty sure, is fighting.
I think Malaki might get the call up. I think Kulabau might get the call up.
Yeah, a lot of us are fighting. I saw one more fight as well, but I don't remember what it was. It was really interesting. Trying to remember. I don't remember, but it was like from overseas, like 2 US people.
Why the fuck are they doing it in Perth?
Yeah, I wish it was in Sydney.
Why
What a
Perth?
flight. It is what it is.
You've got to do it in Sydney, surely, right?
Honestly, I feel like isn't it bigger in Sydney? Like
It would
the
be
stadium?
massive.
Yeah.
It would be so big in
They
Sydney.
would have made more money, I reckon.
They could have done it in Melbourne and had it
Yeah,
bigger.
for sure.
I don't understand why they are so honed in on Perth. Maybe Western Australia just like gave the most amount of leniency to the UFC, right?
Yeah, that was in Melbourne. Izzy's fight, was that in Melbourne or Perth?
I believe it was in Perth as well, but I'm
Maybe
not
that's
100% sure.
Maybe that's why. But yeah, I wish it was in Sydney.
Damn. No one's going to be in Sydney that week.
Yeah, for sure. I know everyone's flying up.
Yeah.
I already signed up for the
Yeah, same.
pre-sale.
Yeah. I'll find tickets one way or another. I'll get them. I'll get him, absolutely. So you're a big Conor fan.
Yeah.
What do you take of the rumors that he's on, a bit of the Mexican juice right now? Because he is
He
yoked.
is pretty big, yeah.
He's fucking jacked, man.
He looks like he's a heavyweight.
Yeah.
He's massive.
He does. Even his neck's like
Yeah, his
thicker
neck's
now.
Thick as, yeah. Probably.
It is what it
It
is.
is what it is.
Yeah.
If you have money like that, why not?
Yeah. He's the only fighter in the last 2 years that hasn't been tested by USADA.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like, it looks bad on like, pushes that maybe he might be on it, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
I like to think that he's not on it.
Oh, me
'cause I
too.
look up to him, but yeah.
Yeah. And, I'm so torn on PEDs and the UFC because on one hand, it's like if you allow the introduction of PEDs back in, it's going to incentivize new and upcoming fighters to go and they have to use steroids in order to compete because there's just no way you would be able to. Because if the top of the top, like imagine Khabib on roids, right? Like, fuck, that's a scary guy to
for
fight.
Sure. No, it's good that like they have USADA and all that. It's like,
Yeah. But at the same time, you kind of want to see what it looks like as well. You kind of want to go,
I feel like if you're a real competitor and you're a real fighter, you want to touch that stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it'd be pretty scary.
There's a lot of that in the amateurs.
That are on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've actually heard a few things. I won't say anything, but yeah.
Yeah. We're not naming specific fighters, gyms, organizations, nothing like that. But there's
I've heard some
definitely
things,
a lot of that in the circuit.
It is what it is.
Does that bother you? Do you? No, you don't give a shit.
No, it's a fight. They can take whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get why people want to do it. You want to get the most out of your body and you can jack it up. I mean, they've got some crazy ones now, man. They've got ones that will make your reaction time faster, your fast twitch muscles faster, you'll see things with more clarity. Like that was a big problem in in baseball. In baseball, they had these steroids that you could take and it would improve your eyesight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so as that ball's coming towards you, you can see it like
slows down.
almost, right? Like,
See it from a mile away.
yeah, it's just like your eye has a better ability to focus on it and you've got more motor control. So imagine that in fighting, right? Like imagine just seeing punches like from the second they're being thrown. Because it's nanometers, right? It's like, nanoseconds. Like it's so split, your ability to slip a punch or get hit by that punch. You can't think about it. You can't be hesitant towards it. Like it's just, you see it, you go. You see it, you go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It is pretty scary
Yeah.
if they were to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, shouldn't do it.
I wish there was an organization
That
that,
just does it.
Yeah.
Someone will do it.
yeah.
Probably
The Russians would do it,
yeah.
right?
they look crazy jacked.
Yeah. The Russians would do it for sure.
Maybe they do have a lot of crazy stuff there, like fight promotions and stuff.
Yeah.
Like some car phone booth. I don't know.
Have you
Pretty
seen
sure that's
phone
in
booth
Russia,
boxing?
yeah.
Have
Yeah,
you seen?
Russia, yeah.
Phone booth boxing is my favorite thing to
Yeah.
do.
How can you even punch in there? I'm kind of extend.
It's just like who's got the strongest chin?
Yeah, literally.
Who
has the
can-
better dirty boxing?
It's scary, but man, because you see people go out and they're still eating punches.
Yeah, while they're on the ground.
Yeah. Which according to TikTok's fine, but whatever. Fuck
Yeah.
TikTok, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Phone booth boxing is the most ridiculous sport I've seen. It's like there's bare knuckle bandits that
Bare
go
knuckles.
crazy.
I like bare knuckle. It looks cool.
Bare knuckle's cool, but you're gonna have a very short career in bare
Yeah,
knuckle.
for sure.
You're gonna have a broken hand within,
But it
the
looks
first-
cool.
It looks cool.
like it.
But phone booth boxing, man, that's a different game altogether. Because like
Yeah.
it's
I
all it
couldn't
is
believe it.
punches.
When I seen it, like how you can't punch. How? I don't get it. But I see people go to sleep. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like how many punches can you throw? How heavy can the punches be? And how quickly can you do it?
Yeah, it's like when you're little and you try to like fight your brother. It's
Yeah.
like fighting like that.
Yeah, literally.
Literally, yeah.
Imagine that conversation, right? Because like there would have been a boardroom And there would have been a bunch of Russian guys with their feet on the desk and just going, you know what we need? We need MMA, but in a phone booth.
Yeah, literally.
And they're like, yeah, that's a good idea, fuck it. Like, who the fuck comes up with that?
Yeah,
That's
I don't know how they
crazy.
thought that. That's crazy.
It's fucking nuts. These Russians are different, man.
Different breed.
Different breed. Okay, so moving into December of this year, as far as you're aware, are you fighting?
Nah, I'll be overseas. I'll be training.
That's right. Yes, you're going to the US. So you're going for 7 weeks.
Be training.
And then you come back.
I'll come back January.
Right.
So I'll try and March.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to rush to return because last time I did that, 3 weeks training and my cardio, even though I had COVID, my cardio didn't.
Yeah.
Even like leading up to it. So yeah, I will come back on January, fight in March most likely.
I
Or
feel like
April.
you say that now, but you'll get the call and you'll be like, all right, bet.
Maybe. But now that I feel like my next fight might be for a belt.
Ah, really?
It might be because
Can you give us any details on that?
just, I don't know, I feel like a 4-1 now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like title shot. But I got proposed one for Hex, but that was on like 6 days notice or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll just come back and we'll run that back when I get back on a proper camp. 'Cause
Yeah.
like I said, I'm always taking short notice fights.
Yeah.
I want a proper camp, but then again, I could make 66.
Mm-hmm.
When I go pro, I'll most likely will fight at 66, unless I get like jacked up and move up 77, 80.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Do you think you have room to go up?
I don't know. Most likely, yeah, probably. I feel like I could.
Yeah.
But I feel like because I'm always like meal prepping, training, sometimes even twice a day, I could. Yeah, I probably could.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'd be really, really strong at 66.
You would be.
Like I'd be a big featherweight. I feel like I could. I'd be a lot stronger. Maybe not fast.
Have you fought at featherweight?
No.
No, but you can.
I could for sure, yeah. I
Yeah.
could cut from 70 to 66 easy.
Yeah. And you've got the frame for it as well, so it'd be really interesting to see you fight at featherweight. I think you'd probably get a faster road to success at featherweight.
Yeah. When I go pro, I'll most likely.
I think lightweights it's every fucking division so stacked at lightweight, man.
I had a chat with my coaches and they were like, they don't want me to cut weight, if that makes sense, at a young age. I'm only 19. I know people are doing it from when they're 17, 16, but let your body like fully develop.
Yeah, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
then when I go pro when I'm 21, go down to 66,
Yeah.
wipe out everyone there.
Do you want the rematch on Eternal with Dom?
After the fight, the first thing I said was we're running that back. And he like smiled at me and laughed and he's like, nah. He's like, maybe in the pros. He got lucky. He beats me. I beat him nine times out of 10. That was the one time he could beat me.
So you think Dom just pulled a rabbit out of a hat on that one and he doesn't want to run it back?
Fair play. I
Really?
wouldn't want to run it back either.
I think as a fight fan, Dom, I want to see the rematch.
Let's do it.
I want to see the fucking rematch.
I'd love to do it. He can come to Sydney, get on Urban or something. I went to his home yard.
Urban would eat that up. They'd
Finished him.
love that fight.
Yeah, do it for a belt. I don't think there's a lightweight in amateur.
I think Josh Togo holds the
That's for pro, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you're
He's
right.
pro.
Not for amateurs.
Yeah.
You are right.
So I wouldn't mind that. But then again, like he was a better man. I don't want to be a sore loser and make excuses.
No, you're not
But
making
yeah,
excuses. You're not being a sore
I'd love to
loser.
run it back.
You think you can do better than what you did on the night. You think you
could
didn't
so
rock
much
up the
better.
way you could have. And, you know, you accept the defeat for what it is with humility.
Yeah, for sure.
And you said, you know, he beat me on the night, but I'll beat you every other night.
Yeah, I would. I'd beat him 9 times out of 10.
I like the confidence.
I'd love to run it back.
What do you think like holds it all together for you? What do you think the framework behind your mentality is? Obviously, you've got a good network of people and good coaches and whatever, but like, is there a religious aspect? Is there a spiritual aspect? Is there a discipline aspect? Like, how are you maintaining the mental ability to be so disciplined and so on top of it?
I feel like what you want to be, you need to hang around with people that want to do that. So I feel like because, like I said, I'm always in the gym training, like I'm just always mentally there. I don't go out and hang out with people that don't want to do what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go waste my time hanging out and doing nothing when I can be in the gym training. So yeah,
It's all you want to do is just train.
and fight. Yeah.
But outside of the gym, because I get it, the gym's like the temple, if you will. The gym's where you go.
The
and
gym's my second home. I'm
Yeah.
in the gym more than my own home, to be honest.
Really?
I just sleep. I go work from 5:30 in the morning till 3:30. I'm in the gym till 10, and I come back, sleep for 5 hours, and then just repeat.
You must have some flexibility with work, especially with
I'm a
this.
casual, so sometimes I can,
Right.
yeah, but I usually work 5-6 days. You'll see it on my Instagram stories. I always post the sunset, sunrise.
Are you so you don't kind of look at anything on the mindset side? Like, do you do much in visualization? Like, how are you preparing your mind for these wars that you're going in?
It's a good one. I do a lot of visualization in the cage.
Yeah.
So I'll go in, or before training, coach will say go in the cage, do 3 rounds, and he'll like pat us down, as in like, so we'll redo everything, as in like he'll pat me down, I'll go in, circle around the cage, then he'll make me shadow box, and like pretend like I'm fighting, just by myself in there. We'll do it 2 times, 3 times. Then yeah, so I do a lot of that. I like to just sit in the cage sometimes, sitting there for 20, 30 minutes, just like enjoy it.
What are you thinking about while you're doing that?
My future,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you see?
UFC. I'll come back in 3-4 years and I'll be in the UFC. Hopefully.
Yes. Well, I hope so, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would.
I really hope so. I really hope that you... It seems like as long as you keep doing what you're doing and you keep... if you stay on the path that you're on right now, success is guaranteed. I don't know what the eventual success of that looks like, because there are variables and you always have to consider that, but that's in all athletics, right? But I think you can't focus on the variables. You can only focus on the things you can control, right? And the things that you can't control are your training, your nutrition, are your coaches, are your people around you, are your work ethic, are your your study of the game. Those are the things that you can focus on, are the discipline things that you can focus on. And I think right now we live in a society that really values externalities. It really values seeing everything else that's going wrong with the world that they can't change. But I find that if you focus on the things that you can change, and you focus on the things that you can control, and you focus on the things that you're going to strive towards, then you're just automatically going to find more success. You're going to find more success emotionally. You're going to find more success physically. You're going to find more success in your personal life, because you're a person of high value, and high value people just attract other high value people. And when you get a whole bunch of high value people together, it's like you've got this team and this network of people around you. So as long as you've got that mental discipline, that mental focus, success is guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure. Like, if we look at it as well, like, for example, like friends, they'll go out, party on the weekend, we'll be in the gym, us fighters training. They might enjoy their time now, we'll hate it, like dying every day, blah, blah, blah. But in 10 years, we'll be on top, they'll be down here still.
Yeah.
Be regretting everything that they should have done. You see it every day, like someone says, oh, if I could go back in time, I wish I did this.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, and it's a shame to see people come to those kind of crossroads in life, and it's a shame because the opportunities are so fresh and are so abundant, especially when you're young and you've got so much time on your hands to go and carve out the next 20, 30 years of your life. And I just think people aren't aware enough of the consequences of the actions they make. Like, sure, you can work a stable 9-to-5 job, make good money, go home to a secure house and work towards buying a property and live a normal life, but fuck, that is boring.
Yeah, well, to the young people, like, the world is literally yours. Like, you can do anything.
It really is,
like, you can do anything.
There's no rules. There's no rules when you're 20. You can fuck up in your 20s and no one cares.
Just go do it.
Go fucking do it, man. if you were to look at the 10-year-old version of yourself,
10-year-old?
yeah, and you could go back in time and say, give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Start training. I wish I'd dropped football and started training from when I was a kid.
Right.
Not MMA maybe, because you're young. Even then, just do something with fighting. I wish I had that thing, but I feel like there are some people in the gym that have been training 6-7 years. And I feel like because my first discipline was MMA, I'm already like able to compete with them. But yeah, I tell myself to train MMA.
I love that. That's such an honest answer. Okay, so there's no one on your mind that you want to fight? There's no one specifically?
I don't call anyone up.
No call-outs. Damn. You're breaking my business model here, man.
That's right. Anyone can get it. How about that?
Okay, anyone can get it.
That's all.
All right, I'm good to wrap up. Are there any kind of final notes that you want to leave on people to remember you by?
Make sure to follow my Instagram, Baz Demirel, and MMAFFT.
Do you want to spell that for people?
BAZDEM for mum, IREL.
Beautiful. Links will be in the description down below. Baz, thank you very much for joining me today, man.
Thank you so much for having me on.
No, of course, bro.
Come
Look,
back again.
100%. We'll run this one back, hopefully with a UFC contract in your hand. 100%. Guys, if you haven't already, smash the subscribe button. We are well and truly on our way to 1K by the end of this year. Yeah, that's it. We're done. See ya.